So admittedly, I had a bit of a temper tantrum earlier. You know, you could almost make a joke that the thunderstorms out of the norm being a bit of my temper tantrum. Just a joke, technically. So anyway, I have a few ideas in reference to the COVID-19 aspect, which, you know, number one, teaches a lot of people to be far more respectful to law enforcement, fire department, EMS, and every branch and division of the military, automatically. Number two, since everybody's already on lockdown and quarantine, it is fairly simple to do anyway. Makes it very easy for all of those who claim that they want a socialized, state. It gives you a taste of exactly what it is that you claim you want, and then you'll learn real quick you don't want socialism. Because unlike certain countries, it's actually quite easy to retract those sorts of martial law sorts of issues. However, at the exact same time, for the CDC, there are plenty of individuals that I have met over the years who did not want to disclose certain, in specific, the adult groups that I have been a part of. There have been those who chose not to be truthful. And in the military, for those who don't understand, you have to be honest when going for various tests and whatnot of the like, because it's for the safety of not just you as an individual, but the general population of the military, and then also the civilians. So I'm going to tell you a little story before I go into that, because it is the truth. There are those who went through basic training, and even though I didn't graduate, they know exactly what I'm talking about. So during 0 week, if I'm not mistaken, of basic training, there were a whole bunch of PSAs, essentially, that we had to go through. We had to sit there and watch the videos and pictures and scientific documentaries of various STDs and what it does. Those who have known me over the years, specifically from 2004 through 2013, early portions, made fun of me because I was extremely CDO, isn't it funny? It's called the CDC, about, not catching a sexually transmitted disease. I was this weird person in the lifestyle, in the BDSM, the LGBTQP, and swinger lifestyle that just did not want to catch anything that I couldn't get rid of. I was kind of like really weird for some reason. That's the way I put it as far as STDs. For some reason, according to all those people that I met over the years, especially from that time frame, that I was so weird that I just did not want to contract any STD. Like, whether you could get rid of it or not. I was weird. I was overbearing. I was too, what was it I was told? I was told that I was too concerned about my sexual wellness. Excuse me for being concerned about, not ever wanting to ever at any point in time, not ever wanting to contract any STD. Apparently, I was weird for that. I didn't think I was weird for that. I thought that was, intelligent. But apparently, to a bunch of individuals who told me that I was weird for that, I knew that I could not be the only person who did not want to catch an STD. I kind of figured that was all across the board, but I would guesstimate that the people that I wound up being told that I was weird for not wanting to catch an STD might be individuals who had STDs, and that was why they were saying such. For example, Philip Olmsted. told me I was weird for not wanting to ever catch an STD. Who knew? And then later wound up telling me that he cheated on me and caught an STD. I got myself checked many times since. I am clear. I don't have to worry about that. I do have the ocular, because of a staph infection when I was in a coma, but I do not have any other STDs. Point being, despite the fact that I had the head injury on Palm Sunday in 2000, that subarachnoid hemorrhage in the frontal lobe of my brain, the damage that was done to that aspect, the headaches, the migraines, the memory deficits, the cognitive disorders, and having gone from college algebra with trigonometry and calculus to second grade math, irony of ironies, I would wonder how many STDs are floating around in colleges. Anyway, I was told that I was weird for not ever wanting to catch an STD. I'm glad I still have not. I'm glad. I want to keep it that way. Maybe I'm still weird on that aspect where I just don't want to catch one. Maybe I'm weird, I guess. According to so many people, I was so weird. And I was just like, yeah, no, I don't ever, not ever, 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 ever. I just don't want to. Kind of weird, maybe. I don't think so. Anyway, so, since everybody's on lockdown and quarantine, or at minimum has, a curfew, I have this little suggestion that, instead of the various, wait till feeling a symptom and then having to do all the cleaning afterwards and all that, why not just nip it in the bud? Why not do it in an all-in-one fell swoop where everybody just, you socialists want to know what socialism is? That is an example where the local police knock on your door. They know you're going to be home. And for the locations that are along the coastlines, well, that's the Navy, the Marine Corps, and the Coast Guard. Very quickly and easily able to do that. The people that wanted to give me grief about certain things that they didn't want to believe when it came to basic training and going through the line, that military guys know exactly what line I'm talking about, where there are two soldiers on each side and they have a line on each side and you walk through it. As you take a step forward, shot on each side, take another step forward, shot on each side, take another step forward, shot on each side, all the way down the line. And then at the end of the line, you get to go to an enclosed room where you put your hands on the wall and you get that penicillin shot. Whew, nobody likes that shot. But it kills a whole bunch of problems. Point being, you people want to vote socialist. You people think that that is the way to go. Well, in the United States of America, we still have the ability to go back and forth. So, you want to know what socialism is like? You can have that. That is your, little experiment, right? So, as a suggestion, number one, as I've already listed the prior aspects, where if you fight the law enforcement guys, you'll find out real quick they won't play your games. Your tears will not work. Your crying will not work, because you cannot say you are being discriminated against. Because it's all across the board. You want socialism, that's the equivalent of. How do you prevent diseases from not just the STD part, but the diseases like the measles have come back? Why would the measles come back? I actually argued with people. Why would you not immunize your children? Not only are you putting your children at risk, you're putting the other students in that school at risk, and then on top of which, do you have elderly in your family? You do? Okay, so you're putting them at risk. It's very simple math to me. It's been that way for a while. I can't even count how many arguments I've had about that. And realistically, I still can't even believe I had to have arguments with people about that. Usually, ironically, college students. Go figure. Anyway, so, make sure everybody is clear all across the board. And then, because it'd be a quick little blood test, you could have it done in your apartment, for those who don't want to, go out to get tested when they're having symptoms and coughing or whatever the different aspects are. You know that each time the individuals will be sanitary, just whatever's in your apartment, that is what it is, but at least they'd be able to know, and they'd be able to keep it organized. Because everything would be in one little thing, one fell swoop. And since everybody's on lockdown, it's real quick. Get your, if they can't do it with the pinprick, they can take a vial of blood and they can make sure that they know who has what. And then nobody can say that they didn't know that they had something or lie about it. Philip Armstead, aka Darko or Donnie Darko on FetLife. Even my biological sister, she lied about it. She told me she wasn't going to tell anybody that she had HPV. And I was like, what is wrong with you? What is HPV to begin with? And then, when I found out what it was like, why aren't you going to tell anybody? Can that do damage? Because if that can do damage, what is wrong with you? And while there are ways to prevent STDs from being contracted and spread, at least give the other person the available option to choose whether or not they actually want to engage in that sort of behavior. So, as a real quick, you want to know what socialism is like in a democratic country, in a republic, a democratic republic. Well, there you go. I guarantee all those people who wanted to talk smack about military guys and law enforcement guys and fire department guys and EMS guys will have a brand new view. And I have no problem doing so. Then again, I also make sure to get tested. I've been extremely, again, made fun of for it, but extremely precautious on that. Number one, protection. And then number two, getting tested. Not forgetting the sterilization of the tools that I've had. So, in that regard, in reference to the hospital aspect, because what if you find a whole bunch of individuals? Well, what is it? I think I was speaking with someone at USAA the other day and said, they've got those. I used UV lights. I would get, when I had my tools that I used in the BDSM scene especially, not only would I use the purple lid for the hospital wipes, the medical professionals know exactly which lid I'm talking about. Although there's also my online purchase of that where I bought 12 or something like that to not only wipe down each of my tools, then I used a UV light afterwards. It was already sanitary, I know that, but just as an extra precaution. So, clear out, obviously since it's spring break, right? And everybody's sent home. Go and sterilize everything that way. Go to the different college campuses. And you can you're gonna have to. Be honest. From what I've been told. But anyway, sterilize them, put the UV lights in there, let that go on for a 24-hour time period. You clear that out real quick. And for the air duct vents, it is made out of metal, if I'm not mistaken, so you can put the UV lights in there, and then it just bounces off the metal, and the light just keeps going and takes care of all the HVAC areas. And, real quick on that. And then, I mean, obviously there are those who know much more than I do on that, so maybe like they could give a better example on other things to do. But here's a baseline. And then you have all the hospital dorm rooms for, the COVID ones to take care of that and get that cleared up. And then, you could still have your election at the end of the year, and life can go on. And at the same time, give respect to all the different guys. Now, again, as I've already said, the coastal regions of the United States of America, you got the Coast Guard, you got the Marine Corps, and you got the Navy. Well, then, in inland, you got plenty of Army and Air Force guys. And, yes, there are limited numbers of medical professionals, in each of the branches. But, I mean, I guess the ideal way would be, in certain regards, similarly to my Medal of Honor art project planning. Go to the furthest areas first, so technically that would be Middle America, and then make your way outward. But since there is the National Guard in every state, whatever the central point of location is for each of the individual National Guard units, active bases, and stuff like that, technically take care of that vicinity first and then branch outwards, if wanting to do it in that way. And then I guarantee there's not going to be anybody that wants to vote for a socialist country after that. Everybody's going to want to, stay healthy and be clean on their own. But at the same time, the CDC would be able to know, and the actual census being actually done correctly. Because, while you've got the online stuff and you can do the mail-in stuff, I'm sure that there are issues with that, so you get it taken care of all in one fell swoop. And maybe it's not the most conventional way to do it, but to prevent the pandemic from actually reformulating afterwards, to actually completely cut it off. Not put a Band-Aid on it, not, we'll take care of it later, not sweep it under the rug. Genuinely, actually taking care of it. And then, as far as the CDC is concerned, that would obviously be able to know all those various communicable diseases. And then nobody could technically hide from the fact that, I understand, not because of, honestly, I was embarrassed and I still am embarrassed that I have ocular whatever it is because of a staph infection. Because I was in a coma, and that whole thing. But I've always admitted it. I've never hidden it from people. Actually put it in writing, though I think I might have put the wrong number because I have issues with numbers. Nonetheless, there is your clarification.